an old Beetle. Every once in a while you'll see an old car like that. There's a dude that literally drives a Model T every day. I think he's got another antique car that he drives too. One of these days I'll see him on this road. He comes down this way all the time. So I'm on my way to the hardware store right now, which is probably the 10,000th time that I've been to the hardware store now that I live in this new house. There's a couple of things that you want to do here and there. Like I just had a slew of appliances to put in. We had a dishwasher and a garbage disposal and a range, a washer and dryer. Wanted to put a few receptacles in a couple of different spots, and every one of these things just takes forever, especially when you're dealing with power, because if you're trying to find power from somewhere, you got to grab it. But if you're dealing with power, you got to find it, and then you got to make sure you got enough room in the box. My dad and I were double teaming all these, so in the case of the garbage disposal, there was no switch next to the sink, so we had to saw out some of the brand new tile backsplash and put a switch in there. So that was a fiasco in itself. So in the midst of all of this, I hardwired smoke detectors and ran some conduit in the garage. Ran 3 boxes with four plugs each, and they're GFCI protected, and you know, all that good stuff. We got some cows here and some goats, but the easiest way to find power was in the ceiling of the garage, so I ran conduit straight up. Turtle! So hardwiring smoke detectors, I put all the boxes in where I wanted them, and while I was up there I was like, you know what, I'll put some ceiling fans in too. So I got some ceiling fan retro boxes, put those up, and then I pulled wire to everything. I was up in the attic. It's fiberglass up to the ceiling joists, and then above that they blew in a bunch of cotton, so there's like maybe 16 inches insulation in most places. So I'm up there pulling wire, and I've got my little headlamp on, and I'm pulling wire and snipping, running it down into circular boxes and fan boxes, and I get to one, I reach into my tool belt to where my snips are, and the snips aren't there.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
I'm like, oh crap. So I look around, there's no snips. So when you drop stuff into cotton, it just disappears forever. So I spent like an hour looking for those. Pretty much the only ones that can cut 12-3 wire with one hand. So those are gone. The water's kind of high here. Look at this guy. So I haven't had much luck up in the attic, up in that miserable hot attic. This story is way too good not to tell. So the next time I go up there is to wire up all the junction boxes to connect the receptacles that are in the garage. The roof slants down, and where I had to run the conduit straight up, it's like the smallest part. You know how a roof slants down? It's basically the smallest part wedged between the ceiling joist and the roof. I have to crawl in there, balancing on ceiling joists, wiring up handy boxes and junction boxes, and I'm laying there like Mission Impossible over top of the cotton that's sprayed in. I'm basically laying flat on my stomach with my arms stretched out over my head, trying to twist wire nuts. And I'm so far towards the edge of the roof, I turn my head, and when I do that, I stab myself in the back of the head with a roofing nail that's sticking through the plywood. And that hurt so bad that I like breathed in like that. When I breathed in, I inhaled a bunch of huge chunks of cotton. So I go into this coughing fit trying to hack all this stuff up. It was like I smoked for 50 years. And you know how your body, sometimes you cough so hard that like your ribs hurt? When I end up like throwing up there, and it's all coming through my nose, and I got like tears coming down my eyes, and it's all in my beard. That was like the second box that I was wiring up that day. And that's quite the experience. I don't know. I think I should stay out of the attic from now on. I haven't had much luck up there. But I suppose working with power, I guess it could have been much worse. But truth be told, the day's not over. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. I'm actually running to the hardware store right now. I need to exchange a breaker. I got the wrong type of breaker. So there's a little more electrical work to be done here. But the good news is that if you're watching this video, that means I'm probably alive and posted it.